Hey YouTubians, it's Tony here from We Try Anything, the channel likes Try Anything, so you don't have to. What we're going to have a look at today is this keyboard featured here. The reason why we're looking at it is we wanted something that was for, it's an item that is for our son, or for one of our sons. And I know we featured a couple of other keyboards on the channel, but this one, it was something that was featured on Hot UK Deals as a great offer. And it was something that we purchased from Amazon Direct, via Prime as it were. And it was something which, it was sold, it came down from the recommended retail price of £30. And it came down to about 15 if I remember correctly. Now obviously, as you can see, it's a fully featured keyboard, but the beauty of this keyboard was that not only is it meant to be an RGB kind of sold as gaming, but I suppose any keyboard that's got RGB in it nowadays is sold as a gaming keyboard. But the interesting thing was it was sold as a combo with a mouse. Now with this mouse, again, this is an RGB mouse as well, and it is sold, made by a company called RGB, or it's actually branded as RGB, R-I-I. And I'm not sure if they do a range of keyboards as such, but this one here was just something that was just an offer that was too good to be true. And the keyboard that my son currently uses, his keys are popping off, and I don't know, I mean, he's 12, so, you know, obviously these keyboards, you know, kids don't treat them as well as like you would do if you're an adult. So, you know, looking for a budget option is the way to go, the way I look at it anyway. So, talking about the keyboard, as I said, we got it off Amazon, and for this one here, we wanted something that was quite well, you know, like cheap to buy, and RGB, obviously, so they can see the keys in the night when they're playing Fortnite and stuff. And we wanted something that just, it was all right. So with this one here, when it turned up, I mean, we had a look through it, and it's got a nice kind of feel to the actual keys as such. Sorry, not the camera there. It's not mechanical as such. It is kind of, I think it's spring laden. But the keys do come off, so as you can see here, they do come off as such, but they're not switches as such that you would associate with a normal kind of, what you would consider, or what professional gamers or more ardent gamers would consider as a kind of a gaming keyboard as such. But what it's got an RGB element to it, which is you know, which adds to the actual kind of value of this proposition here. And you know, with it being fully featured, obviously it's got all the keys that, you know, some kids might playing Roblox and stuff like that may want to use different key combinations and stuff like that. And it also has kind of media keys where, you know, obviously I believe if you press Windows and this, or if you press one of the function and F7 and stuff, it kind of, you can obviously operate the play buttons, the volume and stuff like that. So it's kind of, I would say it's fully featured in the way of how it works and stuff. And you know, it's just something that I thought, you know, it might be worth just looking at and pondering. So as I say, I mean, it's obviously got this mouse here, and it doesn't actually mention the DPI as such, but I'm guessing, obviously you've got the DPI function there where you can change the different range of DPI there, in terms of how responsive it is. It's got, sorry, I keep knocking the camera. It's got two left and right mouse button. It's got a mouse button there and a mouse button there. And obviously, as I say, it's got the DPI function there where you can change it. And also it has your scroll wheel, which feels quite nice, really. I mean, considering how much I paid, which I say is about £15, and yeah, that even clicks as well. So it's got a click option there as well. And you know, for the money that I actually paid for this, you got quite a lot of value here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly connect it up to this laptop I've got sitting here, the usual little kind of netbook type laptop, and I'll just show you the actual RGB functions of it, and I'll show you how the keyboard works, and then I'll give you kind of my summary, as it were, or my impressions. Right then, as I've mentioned, I've kind of fired up my laptop there, which is just off to the top left. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to just connect it up. I mean, I've just changed the lighting a little because I've closed the curtains here. And I just wanted to show you how the RGB works and stuff like that. Now, the only thing I will mention is with this keyboard, which is the RK400 by RGB, and the RM400 as well for the mouse. The only thing I will mention is that the cable isn't that long, really. It just comes around there and up here. And that is one criticism that is mentioned on the likes of Amazon, where you don't get a long cable as such like that. So if you've got a desktop unit or something like that, which sits on your desk, then just bear that in mind. So if you've got something that is directly under your table, then there's a chance that you'll be okay. But I have noticed that my son does plug that into the top part of his laptop, so just something to bear in mind if you are going to use this. The actual mouse is quite long. I mean, it's about the same length as the cable. Well, it's not as long as the cable, I don't think. It's longish, but just to illustrate how long this cable is, just to show you, I mean, I've just tried to keep it neat here. I mean, there is some, I'd say there's probably about 1 meter in length there. So just bear that in mind if you are gonna purchase this. If this review's done enough for you to think about purchasing this keyboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just plug it in. I'm going to turn this light off here, which is also something I've featured on the channel, which you can see there's a card coming up here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just plug it into this laptop, and then you can see the light effect on what the keyboard shows. Right, then just plugging it in here, having to use both hands, and it's USB-A. That's where it connects to. So obviously the device sees it straight away, or the laptop sees it straight away as two different items. And if I turn off the light, you will then see the difference in the keyboard. So obviously there's the keyboard and there's the mouse. So as you can see here, you've got the different, it only does a kind of a breathing kind of effect here with different colours and stuff like that. But you know, again, you just got to factor in the amount of cost, or how much it costs really. If you wanted something really elaborate and stuff like that, then you know, you got to spend the money really. But for something of this ilk, which as I say, we paid about £10 to £13. Well, sorry, I didn't pay 10 to 30. I paid about £15 for this, and it's just something that's ideal for the kids really. You can turn off the as it were, the effect of the actual RGB here, as you can see here, and so you'll have to forgive it. My my laptop's obviously updating because I haven't used it for some time. But you can turn on and off the RGB as such, and I believe from reading the reviews on Amazon, I believe you can turn it up and down. So, but from what I can see here, oh, there you go. There's different. It's just got a couple of modes there where you can just affect the actual settings, so off and on and stuff like that really. So it's nothing spectacular. Oh, there you go. There's the actual breathing effect there, and I believe you can have it fully on as well. There you go. So it's only got a couple of functions there. It's nothing special. And the same with the mouse. I would imagine, you know, it just breathes in and out in terms of different colours and stuff like that. It's not going to have it hasn't got its own app or anything like that just to change the colours like you would get on some kind of more pricier mice as such. But in terms of, you know, just for something that's you know, for something for kids to use and stuff like that, I would say, you know, it's well worth the money really. So in terms of how it types and stuff like that, it's got a nice feel to it. I know the odd person said it's a bit not mushy, but obviously you can tell it's spring as opposed to switches. But I mean, in terms of how I wouldn't have an issue typing on it. I mean, obviously you can change how the feet work as well, so you obviously can have it a bit more, you know, at an elevated angle. And the other thing as well, which is quite nice, is that you have got kind of a wrist rest here, which can help, you know, if you are kind of typing all day and stuff, it does help. Now obviously I'm trying to do this behind the camera, so it's not going to be perfect, but I'm going to zoom in just so you can see the effects on the switches and stuff like that. And it's not bad. I mean, for the price that I paid, as I said, I think it was about the £15 mark. You know, it's a good keyboard, and obviously you've got all sorts. You've got like caps lock and shift lock, and I can't see the shift lock actually. No. You've got caps lock and what have you, stuff like that, escape, and you know, obviously you've got your number lock there as well. It's a fully featured keyboard for not a lot of money really, and plus you've obviously got the added benefit of the mouse. So what I'll do, I'll just quickly show you how it types on the laptop, and then I'm going to kind of summarize and show you quickly. Quickly show you the mouse as well. I've quickly set up the camera so it just shows you the laptop here, but you can see the actual setup here with the keyboard in situ, just to show you how responsive it is and stuff like that. But in terms of, you know, its use, I mean, I'm going to be trying to type. This isn't going to be its use case scenario because obviously I'm doing this behind a camera. But you know, it's responsive. you know, it feels quite nice, really. I mean, I tend to like these kind of keyboards because they're not as loud as you would get, say, with a mechanical keyboard as such that has got cherry switches. But in terms of how it feels and stuff like that, it does feel quite nice. And, you know, from what I'm reading on the kind of what people use this for, most people tend to use it for their children, for one, which is what we've used it for. And also they tend to use it for, their kids tend to use it on connected up to an Xbox or a PS4, PS4 Pro and stuff like that. And I would imagine they would probably use it for gaming, the likes of Fortnite, you know, using these WASD keys and stuff like that. And you know, for a child to use that, and you know, it's a kind of a fire and forget keyboard because you haven't spent tons of money on getting it, you know, it's great. And also, as I say, you know, you've got the kind of backlight to it, the RGB. It's simple. It's simple and quite elegant, really. It's just simple in the way that you can see the keys in a slightly darkened room, as I've tried to illustrate here. And also you've got the added advantage of a mouse, which in this instance, you know, it is quite easily used and stuff like that. But as I say, some people do complain about the actual profile of the mouse. So just remember, it's quite slim in its in how it feels and stuff. You know, it's not an Apple Magic Mouse Slim. But what it is you know, it is a cheapy kind of mouse, but as something for a child to use and stuff like that, it's great. I mean, it has got the backlight to it. You can change the DPI settings, which I think there's about 3 or 4 different settings for the mouse maneuverability. And obviously you've got the different buttons to click here for many applications and games to use. And I would say it's a great little bundle, really. And again, would I buy this again? I wouldn't hesitate in buying it. I mean, it's got a nice feel to it. My son loves it. He's been using it for the past couple of weeks now, and he's had no problem whatsoever. And trust me, if I get a problem, if he has a problem with stuff, I hear about it. So in terms of how it works and stuff like that, I think it's great. So if I type in this, a bit on the keyboard, this is great. So there. I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't mind using it myself. But for kids and stuff like that, ideal keyboard. And I wouldn't hesitate in recommending it. And especially, as I say, you get the bundle there. Now, as I say, you can get this on Amazon. I have seen it for £30 recently, which there is other keyboards out there that you might consider. But if you keep your eye on it and pop it in your basket, and you know, obviously go on the likes of Camel, where you can put the code for this bundle, and then it will alert you when it comes down to a certain price. I think that, as I say, I think it was around the £12 to £15 mark I got this. So just keep your eye on Amazon, and you know, it's well worth considering. So I hope you like the review, and I hope, well, just the kind of impressions and just talking about this keyboard. And if there's any questions you want to ask about it, then please pop in the comments below. And if you like the video, then please give it a cheeky like. It's always well received. If you want to keep up to date with more videos coming soon from the We Try Anything channel, then please click on the subscribe below and the bell if you don't mind. And it always helps the channel grow. And thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next video. Goodbye.